The moment I confessed to my husband that he could never satisfy me the way a former lover once had, the air in the room collapsed into a suffocating stillness. It was heavier than anything I had ever experienced, like I had hurled a grenade into the center of our life together and stood waiting for the inevitable blast. But the reaction I expected never came. His eyes didn't fill with tears. His hands didn't tremble. He didn't rage, yell, or smash anything. Instead, his lips curved into a calm, cutting smile, one sharper than any outburst could ever be. That smile wasn't grief, and it wasn't fury. It was release. Without a word, he began folding his shirt, placing it neatly into the suitcase he had already pulled from the closet. And in that careful, deliberate motion, I realized this wasn't a rash decision. He had been considering this for a while, and my cruel admission had simply delivered the final blow. I stumbled over my own panic, rushing to take it back. I told him I hadn't meant it, that my anger had slipped out, that it wasn't what I truly felt. But deep down I knew the words had come from a poisoned place inside me, spoken with precision. And once spoken, they could never be undone. He didn't argue. He didn't defend. He simply kept packing, each movement precise, like a man closing the last page of a story he had already finished in his mind. When the zipper finally sealed his suitcase shut, he met my eyes and said quietly, "You've finally given me the reason I was waiting for." Then he walked away, his shoulders square, his step steady, leaving behind a silence so loud it still echoes inside me. I wanted to scream, to fall to my knees, to beg him not to go. But some part of me already knew. He had left me long before stepping out that door. For months, I had chipped away at him, pushing, compared him to a man who never truly valued me, testing how much pain he would endure. And endure he did, with dignity, with patience, with love, until I finally broke something in him that could never be repaired. At first, I convinced myself he'd return, that no husband could leave, so absolutely. I told myself he just needed space, time to cool off. But days turned into weeks. Weeks slid into months. And instead of softening, he disappeared from my life with calculated precision. Friends whispered that he closed our joint accounts, redirecting his money somewhere beyond my reach. He ended our lease, erased his name from anything we once shared, asked mutual friends to shield him from my chaos. He even cut ties with my family online. It was as if he wanted no trace of me to remain in his world. And he did it all without drama, without slander, without spectacle. His silence was the sharpest wound of all. I called again and again, sent messages in every tone, pleading, furious, indifferent. None of them mattered. His phone stayed silent. His absence became my punishment. He had chosen to remove me from his attention completely, and that truth crushed me in ways I never imagined possible. I had always believed he needed me more than I needed him, that I could wound him, and he would still stay, patient and forgiving, waiting for me to come back around. But I was wrong. His strength was greater than I had ever given him credit for. When I pushed him past the breaking point, he didn't fight. He simply walked away, his integrity intact, leaving me drowning in the wreckage of my own making. In my desperation, I turned to the ex I had once placed above him, searching for the passion I claimed was missing. But there was nothing there. That man had never loved me. I was only ever a fleeting amusement. When I showed up at his door, shattered and raw, he laughed and brushed me aside as if I were a mistake he'd forgotten long ago. It was then I saw the truth, what I had really lost. Not just a marriage, but a man who had given me loyalty, steadiness, and devotion unlike anything else. I had destroyed it all chasing a hollow illusion. Now, each morning, I wake in a bed that feels vast and cold. I scroll through old photos of him, clinging to the fading warmth of his smile, like an addict chasing a dying high. Every glance drags me back to that last day, the way he left without a backward look, without begging me to stop him. That memory haunts me more than any nightmare could. Sometimes I catch sight of him from afar. He looks lighter now, alive in a way he never was with me. My betrayal having freed him from a weight I didn't realize he carried. Part of me aches to run to him, to collapse and pour out my regret. But I know it's useless. His eyes no longer carry the warmth of the man who once loved me. They shine with freedom, with quiet strength, and with a subtle revenge that needs no words. The revenge of thriving without me, of proving I was never as necessary as I believed. I share this not to gain sympathy, but because it is the hardest truth I've ever had to accept. A single reckless confession can unravel a lifetime of love. Pride can drive a man further than devotion ever could. And the harshest punishment isn't rage, it's erasure. It's being forgotten, as if you never mattered. I once told my husband he could never measure up to my ex. But the truth is, that ex never measured up to him. My husband's love was real, patient, unshakable. And I threw it away. Now, with him gone, my heart hollow, my nights endless, I finally understand what fulfillment truly was. It wasn't thrill. It wasn't passion. It was safety, loyalty, a man who stayed when no one else ever would. And I destroyed it. Now I'm left shattered, with only the echo of my own voice and the emptiness I created. Would you like me to tighten it further into a shorter, sharper storytelling script, perfect for TikTok/YouTube shorts, or keep it in this long, immersive narrative style?